Hey everyone, it's Barbara here in South Florida, actually in Vero Beach, and I have a really strong message today, and it's about Mother's Day. So I belong to a community called Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach. It is a beautiful, beautiful community, and I was so grateful when I moved up here. I plugged right in and had an instant loving community and started to volunteer, and it's really a special place. And our Reverend Clive, has started doing some special talks on different Sundays on really interesting and deep concepts. And last week he had one, and it was on after the service on we are creating our lives, and how we think, what we do affects how we live our lives, what's going on in our lives, how we perceive things. Our thoughts, our perceptions contribute so much to um, to our life and our lifestyle, the people that we attract into our lives, whether we are happy or unhappy. It brings a whole host of thoughts and triggers. And so I was expressing how, because it's interactive, he allows us to be interactive, which is great. I hate to use that word allow. He encourages us to be interactive. And I shared that even today in the service, or last week in the service, talking about Mother's Day. And we have a gift store, and they did some special things to be available for Mother's Day. Just was really a trigger. This year is a really big trigger for me. I lost a daughter. There are other issues with another daughter and with my own mother, and I seem to attract women that seek help from situations they're in. Maybe they have lost a child. Maybe somebody's a military mom and they've lost a child. Maybe they have a child that's in a, a difficult disease such as cancer, or a serious life threatening disease. Sorry, I couldn't think of that word at the moment. And or maybe they've just recently been divorced and their children are little, and they know for Mother's Day it's going to be a struggle being a single mom. What about all the moms that need to work on that day? All the moms that are being servers and serving all these other moms being celebrated. And what's if you're forgotten? What's if you're estranged from your own mother? It's all kinds of things. It affects millions people. I've been a speaker on parental alienation, and many mothers, their children have been brainwashed and cultified and radicalized to be bonded with the father. And there's also mothers that have done that to their children against their fathers. This applies to fathers too. And so, I was sort of tearful because this year, for some reason, I've walked through this path a number of times. I've opened my home and had Mother's Day events for mothers that, no one was going to be celebrating with them, or I know that they've experienced a loss. And so let's all get together and support one another and celebrate our day, and our day as mothers. We've all given birth or adopted, or what's if mothers have had miscarriages? I just found out two different people last week, early in their lives, had miscarriages of twins. You don't know the things that women have gone through. Maybe women want to be a mother and can't conceive. So I think personally, more women suffer with this day than enjoy this day, or your children are not going to call you, or maybe they live very, very far away. Maybe you're a grandmother and you're being kept from your grandchildren. I see that every day, and I have that experience in my life as well. So my point is, I don't mean to go on and on, but I just express that, that's what's happening to me, and and to be aware so many other mothers, because if you haven't had that experience, it's not in your consciousness that other people are suffering and struggling with that day. And so today, as I drove up for service, we have a marquee, and it said, "Keys to Mothers on Mother's Day." And just it just touched my heart. I felt heard. I felt that I had an experience that affected other people and maybe how they looked at this day. What message can we send and have on the roadside for other mothers? We've got all the other, buy flowers, buy cards. What are you doing on Mother's Day? Showing all these wonderful things that may not happen in your life. And it was like peace. And our mission at our spiritual center has really been about peace, especially in this last year. So that is part of our mission, part of our culture. And to see that sign just warm my heart. And more than anything, I knew that I made an impact. I knew that I was heard. I knew that I had a voice and not to just listen and not consider another perspective. And so after the service today, one of the congregants, in fact, the person that ended up putting that message up there, said how they brainstormed to be able to put a meaningful message there without it being dull or dim or um, hurtful or sad. What were those words? Because words matter. Words are so important. When I saw that, I I got it. And then when she shared with me after service that, we heard you, and there was a big conversation about it. And I want to just honor Reverend Clive and the people that were involved in that conversation for putting that out there, because how many people are going to drive by and men situation for a mother? So many factors. Maybe somebody just lost a mother. That will be priest on Mother's Day, because I've been sort of jumping out of my skin lately. Like, what am I going to do on this day? I'm just feeling angst for these weeks. I've walked through a lot of Mother's Days. I've walked through a lot of Christmases, Thanksgiving, birthdays, anniversaries with these same circumstances. But for some reason this year, it's really hurting my heart. And so, just that little sign made a difference today in my life. And with that, I'm going to segue to another point, which it's been needling on my on my shoulder that, come on, pull the trigger, get going. I had started a membership for women called Own Your Life. Exactly what that alignment is no matter what has happened to you, you can be happy, you can own your life, you can create your life, you're a co-creator of your life. I didn't know that when I was younger. I felt like a victim. I felt like I just went with the waves, and I know my dad would always say that that's how I am. That's my bit. They didn't realize that you could change your thoughts, change the synapses and neural pathways in your brain. Do the work to change your thought patterns, your perceptions, and I've done a lot of that work. But it doesn't mean you don't feel anything. Doesn't mean you might not get triggered by things. And but I know how to walk through it. And also, that was a huge thing for me to speak up and say, this is a hurtful time. I'm hurting. We're so used to sucking it up or putting on a happy face and just move on. But I realize, especially with trauma and other things, if you don't feel your feelings, if you don't let people know how you really are right now, um, that's detrimental to your own self-care. Pushing things down, it's like whack-a-mole. It's going to come out somewhere. You could be angry. You could be depressed. You can start affecting your physical well-being, and disease processes happen. Hair falls out, all kinds of things your bodies and your cells do because they feel those feelings and that energy. And so Wednesday is going to be the first day of our Zoom twice a month called Own Your Life. And now this is for women. Maybe you've lost a spouse and you're going into a single life later in life. Maybe you're an empty nester. Maybe you just retired or left a very vibrant career that you've had, which was a big part of your identity. And you're looking at, what am I going to do now? Or how can I serve now? It could be any kind of thing. Maybe you lost everything in a hurricane. A lot of people did in Florida and in Louisiana and other areas. And so for a nominal $14 a month, we have a private Facebook page, two interactive Zooms a month. It's going to be at noon on Wednesdays, the second and fourth Wednesday. I'm looking at my calendar over there, and I have a link I can send you. But look at what a difference it made speaking out, having a message of peace. Because as mothers, even though I might not have a relationship with my child, you want your child to be happy. Maybe your child is addicted and you're always on edge. Am I going to get this call? Are they okay? Is this time and treatment going to work? I mean, mothers go through a lot. So I'm not going to keep going on and on about that, but you know what I mean. If I don't know, if you haven't been a mother, you might not know. But there's foster mothers, there's all kinds of mothers, and we're all dealing with different things. And they make it like a Norman Rockwell painting of how you're supposed to be celebrated and appreciated. And that's not always the case. So thank you, Unity Spiritual Center of Vero Beach. I am so grateful to you for hearing me, for making a difference. That sign might mean something really big to people and women. Maybe, as I said, it can be people driving by, maybe children, maybe mothers, maybe fathers, grandmothers. I think it will impact a lot of lives because we have a lot of marketing hitting us. And really, we want to be at peace having been a mother and still being a mother. Thank you so much for letting me share. And this is such a special place. If you are in the Unity area of Vero Beach, um, please come and check us out. And there's gardens in the back that you can walk. And if you haven't been a part of a Unity Spiritual Center, they are all around the states and the world. And you can DM me and ask me about it. And I found a home there. And a lot of seekers have, leaving other religion, specific religions with a lot of man-made doctrines. And we are one, and we, just like the name, we are unity. Thank you so much.